I see no other option to initiate this war of the worlds to save us all. Well, that's top-notch fucking dialogue you're not going to be able to compete with, folks. Move over, William Shakespeare. You just stay the fuck over there in the distant past that's apparently located eastward of me. You think that Hamlet was so good, that Romeo and Juliet was so good, the House of Capulet moved you? It could move you to a grave, because William Shakespeare has been dead for a number of years. And H.G. Wells, you thought you were so great with your novelization that was turned into numerous films, including a 1950s classic, and then one with Tom Cruise that somehow looks better by comparison compared to whatever the fuck this fucking slop was supposed to be. But when it comes to past writers, past screenwriters, your legacy's totally goddamn torched. Any current writers, just stop what you're doing. Stop. Find something else to do. And anybody that's thinking about trying to have a future in screenwriting, you're not going to compete with fucking dialogue like that. War of the Worlds, aka War of the Worlds Revival, depending on what social media site you use to look up the cast and info of this fucking fiasco. It's currently on Prime, and I'm tipping my hand as to how I felt about this remake, reimagining of the H.G. Wells classic. So this was allegedly directed by a human being, Rich Lee, who's done music videos and visual effects for other projects. I took a look at the list of music videos, and I haven't heard of any of those artists, but whatever, staying busy, it's fine. This was also allegedly written by 2 people, so I know who to fucking blame for how bad this is. So you have Kenny Gold, who did the job in Uncross the Stars. That's fine, whatever. It is what it is. It's a job. The job, as it were. And Mark Hyman. Certainly a busted Hyman, as it were. Is that mean? I don't care. He did Osmosis Jones. That explains so much. That really explains so much. And also the perfect score. So this features Ice Cube as a dad that's kind of looking a little more like Jordan Peele. So Ice Peele or Jordan Cube. Ice Peele just sounds like something you would get in one of those fancy hoity-toity spas where you have to pay $1,000 just to get in the door. Ooh, chic. I'm taking the piss out of this fucking movie because I got sent the trailer a few days ago, and there were numerous requests for me to review it for some unknown reason. Maybe it's because people realize that I can take the piss out of some of these movies just as somebody that sometimes seeks out bad movies, and sometimes the bad movies can be entertaining. There are some laugh-out-loud moments in this. Unfortunately, the movie treats itself as bone serious, at least for the most part, and then it tries to get goofy. And the idea of trying to reimagine War of the Worlds for the modern age isn't the worst thing in the world, but good goddamn Christ, the way they did it here, it was just completely on computers, like it's unfucking friended, except we don't even have the entertainment of Unfriended. And Unfriended wasn't entertaining. Unfriended Dark Web was somehow worse. You have basically just 90 minutes of looking at computer screens. Actually, it's like 82 to 83 minutes before the credits start rolling. But yeah, who thought that looking at Ice Cube on a computer screen for about, a majority of these 83 minutes was a good idea? Whoever you are, you deserve to be banned from filmmaking. Whoever thought it was a good idea to basically make this film in some of the jankiest form proper, I don't have any goddamn idea why you guys would think that was a good idea. The special effects, granted, if the budget was small, I get it, but my God, the special effects make the ones in the 50s version look great by comparison. And the ones in the 50s version look absolutely incredible, even with the age of technology, as it were. But they are so janky, it is like PS1 full motion movies. I'm serious. That's how fucking janky it is. And also, Eva Longoria in this. Why? I mean, why? Yes, bless Eva Longoria for saving the John Wick franchise and getting it off the ground. That's great. But why? I mean, for what reason? The ones that play the kids, they're fine. They're okay, I guess. I mean, kids are more like teenagers or early 20-somethings. But basically the idea is it's just all set on computers. Ice Cube is in a government facility doing data searching and keeping an eye on people because Big Brother's always watching you, as Rockwell once said. Actually, he just said he always feels like somebody is watching him. And we have this thing called Disruptor that is actually really anonymous. And there's also this global tech called Goliath. And then aliens invade. Why are the aliens invading? We'll find out here in a little bit. I am going to get into spoilers, even though there's not much to spoil, but I'm probably going to go long because I'm going to make fun of this. But it is on Amazon and is objectively terrible. I do not understand how anybody could have thought this presentation was a good idea. Getting into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, there we go. Faith, the daughter, is pregnant by a guy named Mark, who's an Amazon driver. That's important for later. I will say the guy that plays Mark does fine. To be perfectly honest, I think the cast does the best they can, and I'm not saying that they didn't, they probably actually had a lot of fun doing this, but just the presentation of it and trying to up the stakes with a global scale warfare, they at least tried to, make it a little bit, epic in the 2005 version, which, yes, did have a massive budget, but there was War of the Worlds, The Attack, that I saw 2 years ago, I think it was what it was, a year or two ago, and that movie is terrible, somehow did really well on the channel, but at least that was an actual War of the Worlds movie. This is just a, cover for the fact that data is basically, being exposed and data is being used to compromise our integrity. Our data is all out there, which, yes, that is true, and that's fine. And these aliens basically are trying to attack Data. Now, why are these aliens trying to attack a character from Star Trek? I have no fucking idea. But Ice Cube spies on his kids, not to be confused with the movie Spy Kids, because even the worst Spy Kids movie still was written better than this. And basically, Faith has a job where she has created a thing called the Cannibal Code that can make DNA attack 6 cells. Gee, I can't imagine that's going to factor into the finish of this. It does. It does. Yes, with War of the Worlds, you have it where there's either a virus or there's the poison. Somebody poisoned the water hole or whatever it was. Something small can take down the biggest thing. And that is, a pretty decent story. But the thing about this is the way they tell it is just so unbelievably bland and boring. And while trying to be bone serious, when they try to throw entertainment in, it's not good. And the thing is Ice Cube cannot leave his facility because once lockdown happens, he's stuck there. Convenient, so they don't have to use that many locations. Yes, they use some outside locations that, honest to God, look like about the same 3 locations for the city. And then there are some shots of military in the desert and in other countries attacking these aliens. Ice Cube's recoiling from the loss of his wife. I assume just in the movie. I don't know if he's actually married. And thunderbolts and lightning, not very, very frightening. Me, Galileo, 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 let me go. So, here come the ships, zooming. Here come the ships zooming down and crash landing and attacking us all with their lasers and janky animation. Oh, little darling, I wish that this movie was way, way better. Little darling, I wish that this movie didn't exist. Because if it didn't, I would not have wasted 90 minutes of my fucking life. Do. Yeah, I'm not even trying with these singing things because I don't care. Because this movie didn't try. So why should I try? Terrible special effects. Yes, the camera work because it's found footage and people are on their devices. I get it. And Cloverfield that was one of the complaints about that. Cloverfield looks like a fucking Oscar winner compared to this. And Cloverfield, in hindsight, wasn't all that great. At least the first one had its moments. But basically, the ships, the ships are arriving. You have the tripods that are attacking, but the ships can detach and they can fly around and attack. Also, Dave, but he's named David. David is here, man. Dave's not here, man. Is into video games, and also there's this thing about this disruptor that's like this anonymous deal that that can hack any system and stuff like that, and is all anonymous. It turns out David's disruptor, by the way, which it's pretty fucking obvious because David's trying to tell him about all this stuff while he's located in another house. So, William, Ice Cube, is at work. Faith is out, but then the aliens attack in hilarious ways. And there's also a character named Briggs that it turns out actually was behind all of this stuff. Faith ends up getting hurt during an attack where she gets a spike through her goddamn leg. Oh, and she's pregnant. So, naturally, that stress is going to cause the baby to come. It looks like she was already ready to pop anyway, so nothing says, birth like a goddamn alien invasion. So, Dave's basically, kind of upset at his dad because his dad's not listening to him. Faith basically says, you got to learn to let go. Mark had let slip that they were going to have a baby shower just before this, and Faith is like, what the hell is going on? Why would you be like this? I'm going to say the funniest thing about this first act is that while he is trying to get his daughter Faith to safety and all these hospitals are filled, he hacks a Tesla and has the Tesla go through some war-torn streets that we really can't see because they can't afford to fucking show us. It's just nothing. Look at the nothing out there. Or like DC currently. It probably actually would be a lot like DC, considering DC is being, currently overrun with destructive people. So, they say that this was planned. Sandra, aka Eva Longoria's character, is searching for answers. She finds a giant hole that's 30 or 40 feet, almost as deep as a Kardashian or Jenner. I'll let you decide which one of the adults that is. And this was planned. Basically, meteorites were sent to attack this or take out the satellites, and the military's been deployed. And great, everything's going to go fine. Oh, wait, we still have about 50 minutes left of this movie, so no, it's not going to go fine. So, yes, some ships get destroyed, but then basically more, tightening of these, of the alien attack. It gets centered around data centers, and basically their sense are being crippled. Now the militaries can't communicate, that kind of stuff. We are told this, by the way, because we are not allowed to be shown anything that's really particularly interesting. Not that there was anything interesting to begin with, but David knows all about Goliath because he is the disruptor, stuff like that. His daughter's in the hospital. Mark ends up getting there. Mark's an Amazon driver again, by the way. They make sure to remind that because I think Amazon actually paid handsomely to have advertisement in this, or Amazon funded this and decided to put their own advertising in, which I do have to say Mark actually is the most dedicated Amazon driver that I've seen in a while, even though I have great Amazon drivers that have come by and delivered packages and are always really, really good. So the idea with this Goliath is collecting and mining all this data, and if the aliens get to Goliath, they're fucked. That's it. Everything's back to the Stone Age, apparently, I guess. It's like the thing from MI7 and MI8. The giant underground dealie. That I forgot the name of because, quite frankly, guys, I've watched 161 movies this year and there are certain details I forget. Oh, wait, it's Briggs, not Stratton, that is doing this whole thing because stupidity, and also we need some government agent to basically be the villain of this whole thing. Ice Cube, meanwhile, is stuck in the goddamn room, and he fires back at Briggs and loses all his access for a temporary bit. Then there is, a little typing deal, and it's like, they do a War Games reference, or it's like, how about a nice game? How about a nice game? Do you want to play a game? Might as well just had the goddamn voice in it. I mean, just unfucking believable. Faith had her kid. Mark is there in the hospital. That is apparently abandoned, but they had enough supplies. There was this one funny moment where he used packing tape to go over the wound. Take the spike out and then put it over her leg wound. I will say that was kind of, creative and funny. But basically the idea is now, since he found out that David is the disruptor, there are other disruptors, and they must create a virus to stop Goliath. But then they end up getting hacked, because of course they fucking do, because that's going to end up happening, because we still have some time left. Then they're all fucked. So the virus gets some places, but doesn't get every place. Essentially, what they end up needing to do, after drones and stuff like that are destroying houses, the mother's house ends up getting destroyed. Ice Cube loses his data, so he loses the last voicemails or voice messages he had from his wife. And he used, David used a cloning thing, or a digital alterer, basically, to make it seem like he was at another house, but he was actually at his friend Brian's house. Not Brian Boitano, because we don't know what he would do. I'm sure he'd kick an ass or two, because that's what Brian Boitano would do. So, the idea is, since Ice Cube knows all about this cannibal code, he's like, hey, can we use that? Because Sandra, we thought was dead. actually found out about some of these nanites, because the nanites attack data, because these nanites are trying to mine data. Data is the source. Why are they doing this? These aliens have been there for a bit, government cover-up, all that stuff. And the aliens basically attack anything with data. It's like that movie Pulse, except this is worse. This is worse than the U.S. remake of Pulse. Do you know how bad you have to be be worse than the remake of Pulse? Do you know how bad you have to be to remind me of the U.S. version of Pulse? Thank you, War of the Worlds / War of the Worlds Revival. How fucking dare you? So, the idea is they have to get it onto a thumb drive and get it down to Goliath. It just so happens that Ice Peele William Cube happens to be sitting on top of in this DHS building or whatever the fuck it is. And he has to sit there while he's sitting on top of all this. And the idea of how they're going to get this thing on a thumb drive. He doesn't have a thumb drive because it's a government facility. Oh, wait. It just so happens that Mark has Amazon Air, or Prime Air as it were. The drone delivery service. But the only way that you can activate the drone is to make a purchase. I actually was ready to just throw myself out the window at this point. I mean, because, okay, fine, have some entertainment, but this is egregious. I thought product placement in the Superman movie, Superman 1 and 2, was bad. My God, Amazon. Good Lord. So, yeah, he places an order, and then the drone gets flown. But then during a fracas and during the weird tripod things that literally move like this, the drone gets flipped over. And then they manage to get a homeless guy that's right there because Ice William Peele Cube happens to have access to all this data and ways to hack people's phones and stuff like that. But now they're on the dark web doing this because his access got removed. Other people's internet and stuff like that are going out. Power's going out all over the world, yet they still have this stuff, but they have this dark web data. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. They managed to get a homeless man, I assume, because he's living in a tent, but it's flipped upside down, and they say, hey, we'll give you free internet for a year if you flip that over. Why? So they can track me? We'll give you an Amazon gift card for $1,000, and then he flips the drone over, and the drone flies in there. And Ice William Peele Cube, the third, Esquire, goes through the data and the data points and stuff like that, and gets down and gets the drone. And just before this, he had left a message to his children, a goodbye message if he doesn't get through. It's really moving, as in it made me want to move onto the toilet to take care of whatever shit this movie fed me. But he ends up plugging in the thumb drive just before the aliens get him. And that's it. Then the data's poisoned, and the aliens die, and the aliens are taken down, and that's it. Everything's good. Oh, and Ice William Peele Cube, Esquire the Third, Serb, is, revived, or fine, or whatever. And he's not going to help the president do this stuff and figure out a way to not invade people's privacy. He's going to keep an eye on the government now. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. I would hate the people that suggested this to me, but you're all cool people. But God damn it. Can you suggest something good for me to watch next time? F. It gets an F if you can't figure that out. If you couldn't figure that out in the first fucking 30 seconds, I don't know what to tell you. F. Terrible. Not entertained in the slightest. Agree, disagree what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rentland. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.